discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Good afternoon, Grand Rising family. Hope you guys are amazing, and welcome to another episode of the Pan-African Bliss Show. My name is Joby, television YouTube, Beatrix, and on the network, Karibuni Sana once again, where we shall be talking about the Kenyan Constitution Amendment 2025, which is seeking to extend presidential terms, and literally combining the conversation we were having yesterday or the videos I was sharing yesterday about what is happening in Kenya, and where in the next coming few months or a year we're going to be experiencing different issues with insecurity, because they're trying to fuel war in the country so that they can postpone elections, and also seeking a way how they can extend these presidential terms, because they know Ruto has already lost, and they're trying to do as much as they can to maintain him in power. So if we don't fight for this, this is literally the beginning of dictatorship, because this is literally, if we allow the presidential terms changing from 5 years to 7 years, we're completely done. But we're going to be talking about that as the main conversation for today, but literally also talking about what is happening with in Morocco and Zimbabwe. I want to discuss a little bit about the history of Morocco today. We shall be focusing much more on that, backed up by the videos I have, because
Morocco. Why we're talking about Morocco?
the new data of Morocco, the new data literally shows that Morocco and Zimbabwe have been ranked among one of the world's best countries to visit in. I know you don't like talking about countries currently invaded, but this is my show, so I want to talk about Morocco and literally let people know also about the beauty of the country. Because for me, I think despite the countries being taken over, that should not limit us wanting to know what is in the country and the history of literally why these countries were taken over. Because you talk about Morocco, Tunisia, and Egypt.
Algeria, Libya, and Egypt.
Yeah, the people currently living together, we know they're not the indigenous people who are there from the beginning. So basically, there's history and patterns that people don't know. And it is important to discuss that before we start talking about the beauty and why it is ranked amongst one of the best countries to visit. Actually, if you talk about the development, it's a developed country. I didn't expect that.
It developed because they're white Arabs. Exactly. There's only black Africa that's not going to be developed. Those are white Arabs, so it's going to be developed.
Yeah, it's a really developed country. And I remember even yesterday with the conversation I was talking about, looking at the net worth of most of these leaders. Moroccan president is one of the wealthiest leaders. Literally talk about the presidents whose net worth is literally close to $1 billion, or literally $1 billion if you can remember. But yeah, so I'll be talking
Not
about
all
that.
of them. And it's funny, they ain't never built nothing, don't own no manufacturing, but they're all billionaires.
Yep. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Tinubu is the richest of all. Tinubu is the top richest of all. But also we shall discuss a little bit. Yesterday we were talking about hospitals as we were winding up the show. That is the Africa Today show. And I wanted to start the show with this video of the sister was in the studio literally telling you how there's beautiful hospitals. And I think they were literally looking forward to opening their own hospital too. Not really sure about the details. Maybe Iwaton knows much more than I do, but I bumped into a video showcasing literally one of the projects that they have managed to do, that is opening up a clinic that offers amazing services, literally. So So let me just share my screen very quickly, see what she's talking about, because it's the same thing you're telling people yesterday. It's not like we don't have beautiful hospitals. We should be there. Normal, the norm should be the norm of everyone going to good hospitals, and all should be
Exactly.
affordable. But sadly, we go to hospitals which don't even have lights, proper equipment. We don't even have full equipment. Our nurses are not that caring. Like, we have doctors who take time to respond to emergencies. It's just super crazy, but not all the hospitals. Again, big caution. But listen to this sister, what she has to say about the healthcare service you can get here if you're coming from America, in case you don't want to end up in a Kibera type of hospital. This is what you can get.
We
Right.
are
But that's
here
what
at
that's what I was teaching Jason. You understand? What about hospitals? They think all hospitals are crazy in Africa. No, that's not true. Go ahead.
our hospital in Nairobi, Kenya, which is one of our partners for medical tourism. One of the things I told you guys that we're going to be looking at this year is maternity birth plans outside of your native country and possibly here in Kenya. We wanted to show you one of the delivery rooms. We're in the delivery room here at AAR. So let me walk you through it. You have the bed just like any other bed in the States. It's nice and clean and sanitary bed for the baby once the baby is delivered. What I love is you get the robe that is the AAR on it. This, all of the, what you swaddle the baby in once the baby is born. Everything is clean and sanitized. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment this video because I know that you all were looking to see more detailed videos about the medical tourism that we're offering. And this is one of the delivery rooms right here in Nairobi, Kenya at AAR.
Yeah, so, and much more. So I'm not really sure if this is a project still under her company, or I'm not really sure.
Yeah, well, what she's doing is medical. She's doing is medical tourism. So since the medical, excuse me, since medical is so expensive in America, unaffordable, it's cheaper for you to fly. Can you imagine how cheaper for you to fly over to Kenya and get your services done there than it would be just to go down the street to your local hospital in America. Because we know America has great hospitals, but you can't afford them. So it's cheaper you to get on a plane, fly to Kenya, and get your stuff done than it would be good. Same thing would cost you $40,000 here in America, cost you like $2,000 in Kenya, plus the flight. So that's $3,000 plus the flight. That's $3,000 for major medical services. In America, costs you $50,000. So, of course, it'd be better for you to fly to Kenya. And then along with that, you're flying to a new country. As you recover, you get to look and soak in all the traditions of an African country. So it's win-win. It's cheaper. You can actually afford it. You won't go bankrupt from paying $50,000 of paying like $2,000 to $3,000. Okay? Now you ain't going broke. And you travel to a new country. So it's all plus. So that's what she's doing. She's facilitating that because, like I said, most people, especially African Americans, are scared to actually leave. Yeah, like I said, most of them ain't even been outside this state, let alone the country. So that's why she's showing you the facilities and say, hey, I'm going to hold your hand for a fee, and have you book this and get you acclimated to the Kenyan hospital where you can get your medical facilitated. So, yeah, so that's called medical tourism.
Yeah,
People used to go to India or Turkey. Now you can go to Kenya too.
I believe it takes so many people, of course, to believe this can actually exist, and this is because of also the image they've been long portraying about Africa and
of course, exactly.
lack of resources and lack of better, healthcare
That's what
system,
you heard.
education, everything.
That's why you heard Jason like, I'm
one of the persons says, "This is a joke."
What is it?
What do you mean?
What are they saying, Joe? What are the comments
They're saying
saying?
this is a joke. Is this even a country to refer someone?
See, exactly. They got the image of
So
They got the image of Africa. Same thing that what Jason was saying. What about what about our medical and things like that? You got medical. You got hospitals in Kenya. You just don't see them. You see all the crazy looking hospitals that don't look like hospitals. Like that ain't no damn hospital. But so
yeah,
that's why they get in the comments that Joe be showing. What is this, a joke? Can't show us going no Africa to get no treatment. Are you
mm-hmm.
crazy?
Well, you better come here because the fact is that you're staying in a country where it's expensive for you to afford a medical health care. Like that's just for sure. It's not like it's cheap for us, most of us in Africa. Trust me,
Can't
it's
afford it.
it's not cheap for majority of our people. That's why you see people being detained in hospitals, for years because they're not able to cover
Pay
their
the
medical.
medical bills.
So, but I believe it's cheaper for you, coming from the States to Africa, being
Exactly.
honest.
It's cheap. Yeah, it's cheaper for us because instead of paying $50,000, we can go to Kenya and pay $2,000.
Yeah, exactly. And even cheaper than that. Because if you look at, I remember when I was getting my leg checked during the fracture, you were on a call with someone and they were shocked by
Yeah,
the medical
but
cover,
yeah,
the
they like yeah. He said, "What? $85?
yeah, so
You
it's cheaper
can't
for you.
you can't get a pill to get some aspirin, Joby.
Mm-hmm.
Aspirin in the American hospital costs you $500 to $1,000.
It
Aspirin, Joby.
it is crazy. This is because this is a country of I don't know how to describe America. It's a sick country, like I said yesterday. America is sick. From the people
Of
who
course,
run it to how it is designed, to how the system is set up, it is sick. That's why I have this
it
article
is.
talking about how America has been literally at war for 93% of its history.
That's a what?
His-
That's a what for
Has,
93%?
has been at war for 93% of
Oh yeah, yeah.
his
It's a sick empire. Yeah,
Mhm.
true.
They are talking about also how out of only 249 years, only about 20 were at peace, 20 years only of peace. And this is from the revolution of Iraq, from Haiti to Vietnam's war, which has been the engine of the empire. And each conflict justified with words like freedom, security, and progress. The same thing happening in Kenya right now. We're here to protect, give security, but they're all backing up these wars and
That
insecurities in the country. But the
that's
record
all
is
fake things.
the record is blood and profits, lands taken,
Exactly.
nations broken, corporations being enriched. This was never about defense; it's about dominance. And America was built for war. And unless you question that, peace will always be the exception. And even if you question, still it doesn't make a change. It goes back to the video I was sharing yesterday. You mean we've been ruled by a class of people who are scared of the sun, who are the less the less entities
Yep.
in this realm. Like these people are the weakest, but we're being controlled despite us having and coming from the greatest civilization. But it goes back again, like we still understand the history was written. We're gonna go back to sleep and all that. But again, I'll say it's mind blowing.
Joby,
Or
yeah, it's mind blowing, but Joby, okay, Joby, yeah, it's mind blowing. Go outside where you at. You know most everybody walking around Kenya are morons in Africa. You know that. There's no way you
yes,
don't know that.
I do.
There's no way I'm walking around America and see most black Americans and I don't know that they're morons.
I
There's no
do.
way. I
I
know it.
do. I do see that. I see that every single day of my life. Just for a month, I've not been able to see that bullshit around me. At least, I've been not around morons. But yeah, I see that every day when it comes to our
Just
people.
be, exactly. Just because we're one of the few that are waking up, you can walk around and say, "What's wrong with us?" Everybody, Big Cheeto's asking us, "What's wrong with us as a people?" He's always distressed. What's wrong with us? Why are we so
Exactly.
dull? What's wrong with us as a people? Well, we are in selenial age. We're in dementia.
It's
We are.
still gotta disturb you. I understand that, but
What?
it's still gonna bother you. Like,
Well, yeah,
if you look
yeah,
at our
it
history,
does.
then who we are, it's crazy. Like we
Well,
and we critical thinking. We lost this. This is insane. Like, we don't have
We're
common
not,
sense and
we're not the
understanding this.
same. You're right. We're not the same people you were 6,000 years ago. You're on a high vibration. 8, 9, 10, 20,000. You were geniuses now. Now you're walking around, you don't even know shit. Yeah, the identity, you got to talk about this goofy religion. That's what always drives me crazy. Like, you know we're low vibrational. We talk about these religions that are easily proven as Bibles. Christianity, the Islam, proven, easily be proven as absolute lies. But we've been conquered by them. So, because so that was what's wrong with us, okay? Okay, we're actually in dementia. We go to sleep. We're old. We're ancient. We're ancient people. Other people are like we're ancient people. We're in old age. So everything is born, grows to a seat, then it starts dying. Then it dies, then it rebirths. Then a rebirth phase right now.
Sometimes it's just unbelievable. But you have to be chasing the building,
It
saying
is,
exactly, Joby, what's
oh
wrong here?
yeah.
I
Oh,
wonder.
but Jesus, I know, but Jesus, his ass always sneaking around and shit.
I wanted to be chased. Trust me, I can't fathom that thought. Me too. Sometimes it disturbs me because we have the greatest history to the point we became this stupid. It's sometimes mind blowing, But what also
When they, when they wrote
kind
it about it, they told you, since they know that you are rhythmic with the universe, that's why it's on all those ancient temple walls. The black people say, hey, we're going to go to sleep. We're going to get fucked up by savages.
of,
And then we're
but
going to rise back up.
Mm-hmm. But yes, as we continue and understand much more of history, I want to talk about Morocco. And yes, like I said, I know Keith, you never liked these conversations of this country. But personally, I've always been a big advocate of saying we cannot ignore the fact that these were part of Africa.
Well,
These were
these are
Africans'
African
lands.
lands. Of course.
Yeah, these were
African.
African lands. There were people living there. We should be having actually multiple people living there. But you see the squeezing of Africans even in other countries to the point where xenophobic behaviors are coming up is because we have people who completely took away what was ours. When you talk about immigration or immigrants, migrants, whatever you want to call them, coming
Well,
from Sudan.
those guys didn't come as immigrants. Those guys came as conquerors. They came stealing, robbing, raping, and enslaving. Okay.
So this is part of history that we need to keep on actually highlighting. We need to start bringing up these stories, especially about Egypt, Tunisia,
Well,
Morocco,
well, let me,
Algeria, and all those
well, let me,
countries that have been taken
well, let me,
away.
well, let me send this one. Let me send this video. I think I sent. Let me send this video to you on my other phone. Let me send this video to you real quick.
Because the more we ignore it, the more the dominance, and they're going to keep on, of course, expanding, paving ways politically. And the moment politically they take over, that's it. They have taken over the country. But the reason why I'm talking about Morocco is because, yes, it's one among the countries, including Zimbabwe, which have been ranked amongst the world's best countries to visit. And I was checking its GDP. It has a GDP of 154 billion, richer than Kenya actually, but not richer than South Africa, Nigeria, but it is literally rich, yes, than Kenya to be specific. And they're talking about also how this is in terms of literally Morocco, which has made the list of 2025, and this is thanks to its desert charm, vibrant city life, and stunning destinations from the Atlas Mountain to the blue streets of the Chef Chon, Chef Gon, I don't know Chef Gon, but yeah, I'm gonna show some different images, videos of the country is really developed. I was wowed, being honest, but again, I look at the history, it makes sense. The fact of the people who are living there makes sense why it's developed. The
Well, it's
resources of
developed, and I understand that was also part of the old Moorish Empire.
Mhm. The resources, of course, it's you'll find probably there are black people who are digging their ass off to, enrich their country, doing some.
You still got some of the original black. You always in all those Arab countries, yo. We still got pieces of the original Africans. Remember, they tried to genocide most, but you still got remnants of the original
Yeah.
Africans in those countries. Well,
Mm-hmm.
now they call them, oh, they got to get out of the country. But those are the original people. So you got the original African people in Algeria. So you got the original people in Egypt, that's in the southern part. You see the original people, black people of Libya and Morocco. But then you never see them. They're disrespected and they're discriminated against. But they're
Crazy.
still there.
Exactly, but they don't show them because if you look at
No.
trying to look at different multiple videos, you only see these white Arabs. These Arabs, it's only they're telling you these are the indigenous people.
And
It's
that,
showing
and understand when they say white Arab, these are what white people do. They're just white people, right? They're the faction of the Caucasoid people. They came in and they usurped, because Arab was a culture, not a people. That was an African culture coming out of Arabia. It was no Saudi Arabia. It was Arabia. Those were Africans because that's Northeast Africa. That's why the original Arabs are black, African. But they came in, invaded, and adopted the culture, and now you look at Arabs and you think they're white. That's what they always do. They go take your culture, and they say they're you. Okay? These white people were never Arabs. Arabs were Africans. White people invaded and assumed their culture because remember, these people were created. They have no culture. So everywhere they go, they assimilate and be you. Well, you got the South Africans and now Afrikaners, and you got people in Australia calling themselves indigenous. All this crazy. You got white Americans calling themselves Indians in America. That's what they do.
Let me share this video. I couldn't find a video well elaborated because I feel like when it comes to Africans, we tell the stories better than white people and all that. Like, we're just good storytellers. That's it. Personally, if you ask me. So I couldn't find a video of a black person explaining deeper of the indigenous, because also they have hidden the history. That is what I'm
And I go, you never had nobody white they call themselves indigenous. You nobody white talking about the black people that are indigenous. They call it, these motherfuckers know they're invaders, but they gonna call themselves the indigenous. It's like they do. It's like you had that crazy. I showed Amanda Seal, Big Cheese on the phone, and that white guy talking about, I'm indigenous to America, and the guy said, you don't look indigenous to America. And I know it was me and you, Joey. We did the show, and that white guy told that guy, I'm indigenous to America, and the guy said, you don't look indigenous, you look a European. You remember that? That's what they do.
Yeah.
And so these white people in North Africa,
the Berbers,
and now,
also known as
and now call themselves indigenous. And the original Berbers were black. Now they got these white people calling themselves Berbers. Go ahead, Joe.
Amazigh are the indigenous people of Morocco. They have a rich history and culture that dates back thousands of years. In this video, we will take a journey through time.
Unless they're black, Joby, they're not indigenous. Because white people only show up there 1,400 years ago. So they go back thousands of years. That's a lie.
And culture of the Berbers and explore their contributions to the country of Morocco. Segment 1: History of the Berbers. The Berbers
and remember,
have lived
and the Berbers come from Arabia. That's right. The Berbers come from Arabia. Those are Africans. They moved across. Okay, at least we'll get that right. Show you Arabia. Berbers are Africans that came from the Arabic Peninsula, not white people. Go ahead.
Morocco for thousands of years. They have a rich history that has been shaped by their nomadic lifestyle and their interactions with other cultures. The Berbers were first mentioned by ancient Egyptian and Phoenician texts dating back to the 15th century BCE.
They were black.
A significant role in the region's history, from the Carthaginian Empire to the Roman Empire and Islamic invasion.
Yes, like you said, the Islamic invasion. Now those white people coming. Those white Islamic motherfuckers. They told that right. The invasion. They invaded Africa. Now they're there. So you go back with the ancient Kemet, those are Africans right there. They were talking about the African Berbers. African. The Carthaginian Empire was African, which is now Tunisia, where they don't like African people because these invaders came in. Right? Carthagena, even though it was in Tunisia, that's when it was still black. That was an African empire. Not these motherfuckers you see there today who hate African people.
Christians. During the 8th century, the Berbers converted to Islam and played a significant role.
They didn't convert. See, you try to sit there and say they converted. They all convert. No, they were just like Christians said. They were forced to convert to that bullshit. That's why I want Jody play the video at this. I just sent her on WhatsApp. On my other phone, so I want to play that video. No, they were forced through slavery and death to give up their African traditions. Give your traditions, or we're going to murder all of you and enslave you. They didn't say, okay, we're going to accept this fake Islam shit. That's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Joe.
They also resisted the French colonizers during the 19th and 20th century. Despite the challenges, the Berbers have managed to maintain their culture and traditions throughout the centuries, which is evident in the many Berber festivals.
Look at that white woman. Look at that damn Ukrainian. They call that a Berber. You see what I'm saying? They call that Ukrainian lady right there a Berber. They call this Ukrainian-looking woman that came out of southern parts of southern Arabia and south of damn Sudan. This white woman is a Berber. You see what I'm talking? See this psychopathy of these people? How crazy! They told you that white motherfucker, that Ukrainian lady, is a Berber coming out of goddamn Africa. Are you out of your fucking mind? But that's the psychopathy. That's a Berber. Ukrainian looking woman. You can't make this shit up.
This one is explaining that.
From the scorching sands of the Sahara to the idyllic waters of the Atlantic, dive into the hot, exotic land of Morocco. Join us as we explore this ancient land where civilizations have crossed paths
for the damn invaders. Call themselves a Berber, that white woman with blonde and blue eyes. This is the Berber who's been in Africa for thousands of years. What? What? Yeah, and they tell you to your face, yeah, that's a Berber. What? What? Yeah. This Ukrainian looking lady.
The history of Morocco traces its roots to antiquity. And because there was no Morocco then, we will only be...
And we know the Africans that built all those buildings in what you call Morocco today. That's why it's called Morocco. The Moors, the African Moors, built Morocco, not these fucking invaders. The African Moors built that shit. Marrakesh and all that shit are now wiped out of history. And you got a Ukrainian looking lady. Look at the Berber. What? What? Go ahead.
Discussing the state under Islamic rule and the modern-day equivalent. If you want to learn more about North African civilization in general, please leave a comment below.
And the sad fact, you got to learn our history from our enemies. Everything they tell you is a lie. But at least they almost got some black-looking people. I don't know if there was the Africans created Morocco. Black people. Marrakesh and all stuff created by black people. Period.
Carthaginians to the Romans, from the Berbers or Imagizans, and finally to the numerous caliphates that ruled it for centuries. No wonder its culture is as varied as its people. The Berber population that lived in the area were once Jewish and Christians until the arrival of the caliphates, converting them to Islam.
Converting them, forced them, converting them, not that they decided to become Islam. That's why you need no real history. That Islam shit and that Christianity shit, those fake religions were forced on people or they'd be murdered. That's why you know this shit ain't real. Except my God will get your head chopped off. Alright? Alright. Except Allah, nigga, or die. So, yeah, so that's when you got the Arabs invade. That's the invasion. These are the motherfuckers that's there today. They invaded. You get these goopy ass fucking Egyptians today. Oh, we're the ancient Egyptians. Are you out of your fucking mind? You think you're crazy? Are you out of your fucking mind? You people are invaders. You're not ancient as shit. Yeah, that's why when you go to Egypt, like I told this guy on there, it pisses you off because they know that's not them. You got graffiti and trash every goddamn where because the Arabs who invaded know none of that shit is there. That's why they couldn't read none of this shit. They couldn't read none of that shit on the wall. It's all vandalized. It's all disrespected. There's trash every goddamn where. All the sacred temples got trash and shit. What kind of shit is this? Because it's not them. They have nothing to do with the greatness of Kemet. That's why none of these dumbass Egyptian motherfuckers knew the name of the real country was Kemet and not Egypt. Africans never called that shit no Egypt. Africans called it Kemet, land of the blacks. So they call it land of the Arab. Go ahead, Joey.
Century assimilated the local population.
Assimilated.
By the 12th century, the Almohad dynasty had full doctrinal control over Berber society.
The Almohad were Africans coming out of the synagogue area. But in this thing, I don't see Africans, I see pale-looking Arabs. The Almohad dynasty came out of synagogue. Wasn't synagogue then, it was called that. But that's the region. Synagogue today. That's where the Almohad Empire rose from. But I don't see no black people on this AI shit he's doing. I see nothing but white people. I don't know what dynasty they talking about. Good. See, it's always to erase African people from history. It's the conscious erasure of Africans' greatness and our keys to building civilization is to erase us completely. That's some white Ukrainian talking about she's a Berber. What are you talking about?
Reconquista, or the reconquest of Spain, after the numerous Muslims.
No more. They must can put the Moors. The Reconquista of Spain, when the Moors took over that area called Iberia, never called Spain, Iberia, and renamed it Al-Andalus because they were spiritual. That's why Al-Andalus means walking in the light. Walking in the light. So the white people took it back from the Moors, not the Muslims. From the Moors, who were not just Muslims, who were Christian Moors, Jewish Moors, and some Islamic, but really Kemetic, because they used Islam since it becoming the power of the region politically. That's why all the teachings of the Moors were not to do with Muslim. That was all ancient Kemet shit. And then it got reincorporated with a fake term called Islamic. Remember, that was the Islamic golden years, because Islam was full of dumb motherfuckers. They called it the golden years because that was the revival of African science. Nothing to do with no Islam shit. What they call the golden year of Islam is African science being taught and the dominance on the planet. Now teaching the white man how to wash his ass and read and write and know math. Had nothing to do with no Islam. That was the teachings of Kemet taking over to them what they call Spain and Europe. And then they give it credit to Islam. That's why when the Moors fell, Islam been fucked up ever since. You know why? Because it was none of their damn science to begin with. That was African science. That's why the Muslims never got control again, because the Africans ruled Islam and took knowledge all over the world, not the white Muslim. So when the African fell, all Islam has been fucked up ever since, dominated by the white people that it taught. Dominated. Islam has been dominated by Christianity and white people ever since. So why don't they since they had all this knowledge, it was theirs, why couldn't they innovate themselves out of the occupation of the European Caucasian, because it was never their fucking knowledge. That's why. Go ahead, Joe.
Invasions, Jewish and Muslim refugees brought with them Hispanic culture to Morocco. However, it should be noted that the Europeans never really conquered North Africa. In the 16th century, during the height of the Ottoman Empire, the former attempted to conquer Morocco in 15...
Pause it. So that's when you know, coming out of Turkey, the Ottomans, so that's when you get the white Turks. These are white people, just like your white people in fucking Europe. The white people finally really conquered all of North Africa during the Ottoman Turk invasion. That's when they collapsed all the African empires in Morocco. Then you got the Ottoman Turk Empire, who come across Kemet, Algeria, Libya. They conquer all that. Arabia, Syria, Lebanon. All that shit was controlled by the Ottoman white Turks. So that's when you get your true whitening of Northern Africa and all that shit. Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Saudi Arabia. All those motherfuckers are Turks, reclassifying themselves as Arabs now. They're Turks. They're Turkmen. Just reclassifying themselves now as Arabs. When the Ottoman Turks lost the empire during World War I, and the empire broke up. Okay? So what you see in Morocco, Algeria, Libya, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Syria, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, those are motherfucking Turks. Reclassifying themselves as white Arabs. They're not Arabs. Those are Turks. Caucasoids. Turkmen. Come in and still there. Oh, we were Arabs back then. No, Arab is black. Go ahead, Joe.
58, but failed, making Morocco virtually the only untouched Arab country, never being assimilated by the Ottomans. By the 17th century, another dynasty came into power, the Alawite dynasty, who continued to rule Morocco to this day.
Yeah,
it was then that Morocco's identity as an Islamic monarchy was fully established under the guidance of Sultan Moulay Ismail.
Exactly. So you see that's a Turk. That's a fucking Turk. See, this is all recent history. Because you go back in ancient time when none of these fucking Turks there, it was all African people. But they don't want to show you that. They want to show all these Turks and white people, show you white Ukrainians call themselves Berbers. They'll show you nobody black. The creation of Morocco was African. That there wasn't called Morocco then, but that's where the name comes. Morocco, Moors. Like south there, you got Mauritania, Moors. African people. Go ahead, Joe.
All parts of the country using a slave army and instituted changes to centralized rule.
A slave army.
18th and 19th centuries.
Those are the black people that got conquered. Now you're slaves. A slave army. That means the black people who are the indigenous got enslaved by these white people. These white Turks. Okay? Turks. Not Africans. Turks. So they took the original people and enslaved them and made them some fake ass army. Get it? Go ahead, Joe.
Morocco would isolate itself from the rest of the world, most especially Europe, which was embroiled in constant war. The time from 1830 to 1912 was a tumultuous time for Morocco. The French invaded Algeria in 1830, and Morocco dispatched soldiers but was forced to retreat after French protests. During the preceding events and battles, the Moroccan army was eventually defeated. A figure in Algerian history, Abd el-Kader was defeated by the French and was forced to take refuge in Morocco. However, he was attacked by Moroccan troops and eventually surrendered to the French. Another significant event in Moroccan history is the dispute between the country and Spain over the territory of Ceuta which led Madrid to declare war on Morocco. The latter lost again and was forced to give up another enclave, Ifnai, to the Spanish. In 1901, an aspiring new sultan, Abd al-Aziz, set his sights on European customs and attempted to adopt them to Moroccan culture. However, this was scandalous to the local leaders at the time. An attempt to introduce a modern scheme of land taxation fueled the ire of the local population even more. The Europeans used this internal turmoil to their advantage. All the main European powers set their sights on Morocco. In 1906, the powers met in Algeciras to confirm the integrity of the Sultan's domains, but sanctioned French and Spanish ships from policing the waters of the country. Abd al-Hafiz, the Sultan's brother, rebelled against him, causing the Sultan to flee. Abd al-Hafiz was proclaimed as Sultan and recognized by the European powers. He was an unpopular leader, so much so that he requested French help. In exchange for their help, he signed a treaty that made Morocco a French protectorate, starting a new stage in the history of the country.
Making it a colony. He's a puppet.
French Protectorate of Morocco was established in 1912. The French had difficulties as the Moroccans were fiercely independent. However, the Treaty of Algeciras divided some parts of Morocco between Spain and France, particularly in the north and southwest. The Sultan was still active. However, the French were the real authorities during this period. During World War II, a large Moroccan force was sent to help the French forces in the liberation of France in 1933, serving with distinction. However, the Nazi regime, connected with the Vichy French government, introduced more problems to an already problematic and confusing situation for the fiercely independent Moroccans. The arrival of the Americans in 1942 introduced the Moroccans to the outside world, and a call for independence amongst young Arabs was immediately felt. By 1944, a new independence movement, Hizb al-Istiqlal, came into fruition. They submitted a memorandum requesting for independence and constitutional reforms that very same year. Independence was declared on March 2nd, 1956, after decades of French interference and thousands of arrests. Despite its inadequacies, the French protectorate was able to help modernize Morocco. However, the designs were very colonial, to say the least. France and Morocco maintained lukewarm relationships despite the latter's support of Algeria in the Franco-Algerian War. Morocco has a GDP of $131 billion, making it one of the richest North African countries. At least 57% of the GDP is from services, 30% from industry, and 14% from agriculture. Agricultural products include wheat, milk, olives, sugar beets, potatoes, tomatoes, tangerines, mandarins, oranges, apples, and onions. Moroccan heavy industry includes automotive parts, phosphate mining, and processing.
Pause that. Morocco's poor as fuck. $131 billion, when Nigeria is 5 times bigger than that. But Nigeria's underdeveloped. Explain it. Everything's based on racism. And Nigeria would be 100 times richer than that if the English weren't stealing out of there.
Yeah, that's why I said its GDP is 154 billion. Nigeria's GDP is 187 billion. Though
Nigeria's thing is about 400 billion, ain't it? About 450?
No, Nigeria is 187 billion. That's the GDP currently.
Damn, they went down from 400 billion what in the last 3 years? Is that bad?
South Africa is the only country at 4 billion currently in Africa. I checked.
Yeah, 400 billion. Wow, hold on, Joe. You do this again. What?
Yeah,
what?
I checked literally when I was doing my research. I checked the GDP of these countries. Kenya is 124. Nigeria is 127.
Yeah, I'm about to say you're compatible with with fucking Morocco. So why is Morocco more developed than Kenya?
Literally.
Huh? You ask these questions because they're white. They're not gonna let white people live all fucked up. So, how the hell did Nigeria lose $200 billion in GDP since Tinubu came? Okay, do this for me right here. Go. Say, what was the GDP of Nigeria in 2021? What was the GDP of Nigeria in 2021?
440.
See, $440 billion. So now you're telling me, Joby, they went from $440 billion to 189?
Yes, 187 billion. That's the current GDP in Nigeria.
They've almost lost $300 billion in wealth a year, Joby. The country they went that completely backwards.
Yes.
So explain to me, Joby, how a country that was, and really, Nigeria's supposed to be in the trillions, but the morons who've been running it and running to the ditch. But let's just say 2021, their GDP was 441 billion, 5 times the size of fucking Morocco. How is Morocco more developed than Nigeria? I want you to understand the games that are being played on African people. The white man's going to develop these white countries in Northern Africa because at the end of the day, they're white like his ass. That's why you got a Ukrainian talking about she's a Berber. All right? So how the hell does Nigeria go from 441 billion down to what you talking about? Complete economic collapse. You talking about complete economic collapse in the last 3? Because you looked up this year's GDP, right, Joey? You're talking about complete economic collapse. Somebody's supposed to be goddamn taking out bubble gum.
Yeah, and then Algeria is 263 billion.
Still will be lower than Nigeria. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, higher than Nigeria. 263
Now
billion.
I'm talking about in the past.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Tunisia, that is 53 billion currently. Yeah, so it's crazy. It's just mismanagement again. It goes back to this because that's why it makes sense why Tinubu right now has his net worth is the highest. Tinubu is the top richest.
He's the richest. He's the richest by why his country's been collapsing. Make it make sense. How do you go from $440 billion down to $180 billion in 3 years? How's this even possible?
Mismanagement, giving everything
that's,
to the white.
That's beyond. Yeah, that's beyond. Joe, that's beyond. That's right. That's beyond mismanagement. You can't mismanage nothing like that unless you're retarded. There's no way you can lose that much GDP yearly, Joby, unless you're some kind of a retard. That's not even possible. That means somebody's been giving more money away to England again.
Exactly.
It's absolutely crazy. But do me a favor again real quick. I'll do this so we know. Go to Google, say images of the original Arabs who are black and don't look like Ukrainians and shit. So you know that the images of the original Arabs, the original, they're going to be black, Joby. They're going to be African. They're just Africans with a different culture. The culture was Arab, not a race. White people say, oh, we're Arabs. It was a culture, Joby. Not a race of people. But white people came in, called themselves Arabs and tried to make it a race. Arab was an African culture.
Okay, we have one of them.
Yeah, black. So where did they get the white Ukrainians spinning around and shit, Joby? Where'd she come from? That's the original Arab, Joby, an African. Those are the people. They talk about the Muslims who built North. That's what the Muslims. That's what the Arabs look like, Joby. when they built the outfits and everything. That's what they like when they went to Spain. That's what they like when they put colleges in Spain and controlled and created Morocco. That was the Arab. Not these white people. Those are Turks who invaded and called themselves now Arabs. Motherfuckers are not Arabs.
Stealing identity and making it their own. But let me share this video.
Go ahead.
With me, connect the story. Okay.
They're the Indians, they're the indigenous, they're the Arabs, they're everybody. Shit's crazy. They're the last samurai.
And I'm going to explain to you, when you're doing research and stuff like that, you need to dig deeper in order to find the real truth, because this is why people like this will make comments like saying that the Venus figurines are European artifacts when they're not, just because they have the name Venus.
We know they're African because of the body type. We know the phenotype is an African woman. There's no white woman with that phenotype. And you didn't exist either. Go ahead.
To a lot of things, okay? But you need to dig deep. Because as soon as you understand that pale skin does not show up in history, okay? It does not show, like they didn't even bother to write it back that far, okay?
That's right.
Except for the pretending, like
all these people exactly, young lady. They lied to you. All these people are new. That's why they can't show back in any history. There were no East Indians and Asians and Europeans. They did not exist. You go back to a certain time, these motherfuckers are not around. And that's what I told you, young lady. I said, keep digging. You're digging, but don't trust Google or none of these places, nothing but lies. These people popped up 2 days ago. Good, Joe.
What they'll do, but I'll show you exactly what they do. So this person said, mate, Venus figurines are European artifacts. You cannot claim them. They were left by European ancestors. It is as simple as that. Venus of Bresamothe is literally carved in ivory. So literally white, straight or braided hair. Nothing about it says that's African. The oldest representations of braids are in Europe. Yeah, man, there's mummies and stuff with braids. There's sculptures with braids that are older than Europe is.
Europe, exactly.
For what we know as Europe is today. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So how this person said that, I don't know. But so obviously once on Google, I asked, when were the Venus figurines made? Okay, because the first thing I want to figure out is, when do they say it was made? Because once I figure out the time, then I can figure out the population of the time of the people of the time that lived there. Yeah. Anyway, so it says Venus figurines were made during the Upper Paleolithic period in Europe and Asia, with the earliest examples such as the Venus of Hohlfels dating back to 35,000 to 40,000 years ago, and most others appear between 33,000 and 20,000 years ago.
Well, no white people there, but no Asian people, but no East Indian people.
Okay, so we've got the thingy, yeah? So it's about 35 to 40,000 years ago, yeah? Now, I asked, what...
I read it, actually, yeah.
Yeah. And then you find out who was a Paleolithic, okay? Because they're always going to use, like, weird stuff. And it's going to sound like it's English, right? Look, it's a Paleolithic. Sounds almost like pale and all of them things. Who were they? Scan. So, okay, hunter-gatherers. Yeah, so they call them hunter-gatherers. So then you say, what color were the nomadic hunter-gatherers, yeah? 30,000 years ago. So the nomadic hunter-gatherers 30,000 years ago, particularly those in Europe, likely had dark skin and brown hair, with some individuals also possessing blue eyes. Anyways, we've got blue eyes in Africa as well, but they want to throw that in there. Look at the imagery that they have as well. Yeah, look at the imagery that they have of the nomadic hunter gatherers.
Of the lies.
Anyway, DNA evidence shows that dark skin was common in Asian populations for many thousands of years before light skin
They were African. Like
to
no African.
adapt to lower UV light levels in cooler climates and better absorb vitamin D. And what pisses me off as well is that they say light skin evolved and it was a mutation. Let me just quickly, sorry, fuck off. Okay, sorry, guys. Anyway, with this, yeah. So then they say, yeah, genetics of ancient European hunter-gatherers show that they typically had dark skin and brown hair similar to their African ancestors. And the fact that they say similar and all of these things.
They weren't similar, they were African, exactly.
Right?
That's,
you already.
That's the lie, exactly. And they're similar now. They don't want to say they were Africans. No, they want to say, oh, there's some kind of weird black European. Some shit. They were Africans. Because they didn't exist. This is when they start keep formulating the lie. Exactly. As you did, young lady, you know, everything they do, everything they write is a lie for white supremacy. Everything's a lie. So, no matter how far back you go, it's going to be an African staring you in the face. Not a European, not an Asian, and not an East Indian. It's going to be an African staring your motherfucking ass back in the face. And they'll try to write some bullshit, but say, oh, it was a darker person with dark hair. Well, that's an African, ain't it? Well, not really. We're damn sure ain't a European. Damn sure ain't an East Indian. Damn sure ain't a damn Chinese-looking person. Who is it? Well, we just really don't know. They were dark with woolly hair, but we just don't know. Good.
No. So clearly, the people that made them were, like they said, dark skin and dark brown hair. Dark skin and, do you understand? Similar to African ancestors. Okay? So we already know. Black people everywhere. But now, if I was to just ask straight up, what color people made the Venus figurines? Guess what they're going to say? Guess what roundabout shit they're going to tell me? Listen to this. The people made the figurines were an ancient nomadic Stone Age Paleolithic hunter-gatherers. So we already know who the nomadic hunter-gatherers are. But you see how the words they used, yeah? So look, and society is likely in Eurasia, though the specific ethnicity or racial group cannot be identified from the figurines themselves, which were made from materials like stone, bone, and ivory between 35,000 years ago and 10,000 years ago. Okay? So, no indication. So it even says here, it is impossible to determine the specific racial group or color of the people.
It's always impossible. Of course it is. It's impossible because they were impossible because they were African.
Concepts of race and color were established. You mean before your
exactly
your
ass showed up
and your color was even established because it didn't exist. Because it existed before your existence, and then you've now relabeled it something to make sense of it. Like, can you imagine? Like, in my language, they call it okumanyira. Like, okumanyira in Luganda basically means like, it's like disrespect, like somebody's disrespecting you. And that's exactly what they're doing. But it's even more potent than disrespect.
We call it playing in your face, young lady. They're playing in your fucking face. And they think you're not smart enough because they kept you dumbed down. That's them playing in your goddamn face. Hoping that you don't figure out their lies.
Bro. Anyway. It is what it is. But that's how they scam us, guys.
Yeah, so that's the end of it. But yeah, so as you visit Morocco, if you're looking forward to visit Morocco, you should know deeper of the history. You should be expecting there, because I bet even today when you go to most of these places where you have the tourist guides, they don't give you the full detail because they don't even know much of that country that they just took away from the indigenous people. That is also something else we need to understand. Most of the tour guides in these countries that are invaded, you think they're giving you true history. They don't know the history of those countries because they also are invaders. So
course.
It's when you go there, personally, I think I'd be very interested to go. I love the beauty. These beaches in that country, that's just something I love. The water, I love that. And it's clean. I've noticed it's a very clean country as well. Very, very clean. I'm gonna share some few images of literally how these people are living lavish. And this is everywhere actually they are too. Because they can't, make black people work so hard for them and they're living lavish on behalf of the Africans' strength. Let me say that literally using black
And they
people's
hate your guts.
crazy. Look at those places. Like it has really beautiful scenery. Like
Is Africa's a beautiful is Africa, Joe. But understand, the majority of that shit was built by African people, black people.
exactly. Mm-hmm.
Don't say Arab that you pulled up built that shit.
Mm-hmm. The roads, the building, like it's such a clean city. The deserts, got the water pool there. Look at that. It's crazy because again, yeah, it's a good question. How is Morocco this developed than Nigeria? This is crazy.
How about that? How about that?
Look at
How
how
about that?
clean this city and organized it is. Like this is super amazing. This is what we need. This is the American
That's
dream
how Lib-
we have been
that's
saying.
how,
You
that's
know,
how Libya used to look. That's how you go to Algeria, it's the same thing. Another poor country. Algeria's developed. Libya was very developed, but they bombed it 15 years ago, bombed it back in the Stone Age.
mm-hmm. We
Egypt's
have
very
Zimbabwe.
developed.
Yeah, we have some few images from Zimbabwe as well, clean as well. Apart from because we have Zimbabwe's majority are living in poverty. The white people are the ones enjoying all
They
this
live, they
beauty.
live in poverty, but remember, yeah, white people used to control Zimbabwe like South Africa. So
Yeah,
Zimbabwe was very advanced. I told you Zimbabwe had the best educational system in Africa. That's what I looked it up. I told you. They had the best
yeah.
colleges in Zimbabwe, the best of everything in Zimbabwe.
I'd love to
But
go to
white,
Zimbabwe because of this waterfall. It has the largest waterfall in the world, literally.
in the world, yeah, it's called, and named after a white woman, Victoria Falls. It's like Victoria Lake in Kenya.
Who's Victoria? What the fuck is Victoria? It's
She,
crazy,
she's, the,
man.
she's the Queen of England. That's
I
what they were
know, but
talking. That's right.
that is just not anything African related, Victoria.
I know.
Actually.
Well, why you change the name back? It wasn't the name. That wasn't the name of it. Why people come to power and change the name of your shit? Why you got independent? Why would you change Lake Victoria back to its original name or made a new African name?
Not that
Why haven't you
easy.
took Why haven't you took Victoria Falls and changed it back to its African name?
We don't even
Huh?
know history, so what do you expect?
Oh, okay, we'll create a new African name there.
Well, I'm just still gonna call it after I'm Zungu. It sounds better. But anyway, as we come to the end of
Hey,
today's
let that video I sent you, Joe.
as we come to the end of today's conversation, we have Kenya, which is literally the conversation we were having yesterday, and the matters of insecurity that are rising, that is in Mandera and in Nairobi city itself. And I explained very well yesterday on yesterday's video what is happening, where they're trying to plan blame games on different political parties, so that they can also cause and create insecurity
Cause
in the
confusion.
country. Yeah, and
Yeah.
confusion, and which is going to lead the US to saying Kenya cannot hold election because there's insecurity in this part of the country. So it's very well orchestrated, very well planned. This is all Ruto's plan. Remember, he
Boy,
did also remove the files of all the corrupt leaders. So when this was happening, actually nobody understood what is happening, which I was trying to explain yesterday. We had Ruto saying that the constitution that was passed in by Mwai
democracy.
Kibaki, by Mwai Kibaki, every 27th of July, this shall be marked a national holiday. And I was trying to literally understand why did you do this, because this was never there. Why are we having so many holidays since this guy came became a president, he's just been marking holidays after holidays. People are shitting today, it's a holiday. Tomorrow someone is sick, it's a holiday. Today we wake up, we say Ruto must go, it's a holiday. What do you mean we're having all these holidays and the country is sinking in poverty? You know, we need to be doing something more.
Well, that's celebrating the shit that's not to be celebrated.
Exactly.
Maybe you not understanding, hey, why we got all these goofy ass holidays and shit? We got no jobs, we got no work.
Yeah, so apparently there's leaked information that has been going viral currently, and this is about the Senate, which has dismissed claims that the Constitution Amendment Bill of 2025, which they also passed secretly, seeks to extend the term limit of the president, governors, and
people. So see what they're trying to do. They're trying to set up a dictatorship behind your back. They're trying to go back to when Jomo and the other moron Moy ruled. They ruled for 30 years, 25 years. They try to do the same shit they do all throughout Africa with a 70, with a goddamn fucking Equatorial Guinea, with all these motherfuckers that have been in power for 30 and 40 years. That's why, but you know, the Europeans ain't said nothing about, because all this is undemocratic. But the Europeans don't care about that. They want their money. If you guys don't know right now, France is collapsing, because now it's losing its control over African resources. It can't pay nobody. It can't pay for its hospitals. It can't pay the pensions. Because Europe, quiet as kept, with all the lies and propaganda, has been living up African people's backs. They've been parasitical to Africa by telling a lie about, Africa, these poor, dirty niggas. They're so poor and so black. So poor and so black. Wait, that fake narrative that no, Africa's rich. And you're the poor ones that have been living up Africans' backs for the last 500 years. But as they start waking up and taking back the actual resources, it's all, you start going broke. And England's going to be next. All of Europe is going under. Germany, because they're parasitical. They've survived 500 years out of African resources, get billions of dollars, trillions of dollars out of Africa by leaving African people in Queberas, starvation, impoverished, and then uneducate me out, keep them stupid, and he doesn't know that he's being robbed. Imagine I'm a pickpocket. I'm so great. I've been robbing you for 300 years, and you still ain't realize it's me that's robbing your stupid ass.
It's crazy. So this basically, it makes sense why after him removing the corrupt files, he told everyone, if you don't vote on this constitution, this means you're gonna go to jail. So he has these people by the ball to the point they can't even oppose this. Imagine
when he said you're gonna go to jail if you don't sign. That means you don't live in democracy. They set up a dictatorship, and so Kenya's gonna have full revolution. And understand that's what's coming, because your people are too smart. See, so you got enough people in Kenya that know too much. So it's going to be a full revolution. That's what's going to happen to Kenya. There's going to be a full revolt, not protest, revolution. That's what's going to happen. That's what's got to come. Because now they're setting up a dictatorship.
I really, really hope so. I so hope so. Bashar to Big Cheese says the only Indians in America are the FBAs. Shout to Judge Guy says that the Baba people are and Maria go back like pacifiers, and also says Big Cheese says Keith, you and Joby are lying. Nick Fuentes said y'all haven't built shit ever.
All right. Nick Fuentes no good ass. It's no good. And we don't Google. We don't use some be kind with this no good. Nick Fuentes is a homosexual as deviant. Okay? He likes to take it up to you know what. He likes to suck you know what. He likes to suck all kind of funny popsicles. And got the nerve. And Candace was too stupid. Shout out to the other brother on here on TikTok. You probably seen about stupid cat. Candace is a moron. It's after the brother said Candace was too stupid to refute in her class, because remember, she's anti-black. She hates being black. That's why you find all with the Andrew Tatum, whatever fucking name, the Officer Tatum and the other twins. They all got white women and have mixed kids. They hate being black. What do they have in common? They have self-hate. So Candace don't know shit about her being black, or even about black history. So she couldn't even push back on his racist ass comments because she hates who she is. She hates being black. She hates everything about blackness. So she couldn't even dispute all the racist ass shit Nick Bridges was saying in her face. She couldn't dispute none of it because she doesn't spend any time learning about who black people are. Civilization. He just talking crazy in her face. You black people are stupid. You ain't never done nothing. And Egypt wasn't no black people. That's another race. Get out of your fucking mind. Mm-hmm. That's how stupid. She don't know that. She's too stupid. Because she doesn't want to be black. She wants to erase her blackness. Why she married the first white man she could find. Right? Who would accept her no good stupid ass? You call her pretty. I don't see it. I call her cute. I don't see it. I don't find the bitch attractive at all. Wow. I find her stupid and annoying. And she's only got famous because she used to talk about white talking points. Oh, black people are all fucked up. Black people commit the crimes. Black people. So she's a grifter. Candace Owens is a no good, dirty grifter. Because they know if they say things that white people love about black people, they'll get put on. They'll get money. They'll make money. Oh, black people are so fucked up. Black people kill each other. Black people are so stupid. Black people have low IQ. Black people never done shit. And so she listens to this white supremacist regurgitate that bullshit in her face. And when she say nothing. And then after he talked to her crazy, he doubled down on it. When he went back home, this little homosexual weirdo, right? This homosexual weirdo went home and started talking crazy about, oh, she's black. She ain't nothing but a token Negro. Called her what she really was, a token. He said, I'm tired of all these token Negroes. You gotta pretend like this Candace Owens. She's stupid as shit. We gotta pretend she's smart because she's doing our talking points. We don't need these black fake tokens. We don't need their ass no more. You know, them talking white people talking points for money. Nick was being honest. He know all these boot-licking handkerchief head niggas, as he called them, boot-licks. Called Candace and the rest of them boot-licks. So we don't need no more boot-licks. You think they don't know Candace is fake? Candace is phony? She only done that shit to get money? Now she got these $1 million homes everywhere. Because she was saying things that white people couldn't say. They want to be called racist. Now they don't care. Because their natural proclivity is to be racist. So they use a token black person to say all that filthy shit they want to say. Oh, you black people, Africa never did it. These Africans were butt naked, shitting on themselves and stupid. You're like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah, these Africans didn't have the will. He said Africans couldn't write. Writing systems comes from Africa. The alphabet comes from Africa. For African, there would be no reading and writing. But her stupid ass don't know that. She hates being black. So you let this no good homosexual cracker say crazy shit in her goddamn face. This talk. And that's the same morons who was talking about Kanye retarded ass. He said that was one of his best friends. And you got morons talking about Kanye some kind of a genius. When he has nothing but self-hate his own damn self. Wasn't Nick one of Kanye's best friend? Remember who was doing these hateful black shit with Kanye? Oh, Candace Owens stupid ass. They built dumbass Kanye into a star. This fucking moron. Then you want to tell me he's a genius. Kanye West is a fucking... If you think Kanye West is an idiot, you need to go get yourself a moron test.
As we come to the end, we continue with Brandy's tonight.
Yeah. Oh no, Joe, you put my video right there. Yeah.
Yeah. I see Richard says white supremacists on social media don't like Nick because he's exposed the black
He says the
grifters.
truth. Yeah, he exposed exactly. He exposed all the bootlicks. See, the bootlicks are supposed to have plausible deniability. You know, you're not supposed to call Candace a bootlick and a handkerchief head and a sellout. She's doing the bidding of the white supremacists. So they're supposed to pretend like all her stuff, but she just telling the truth. You niggas all fucked up. She just telling the truth. She's not a grifter. She's not a bootlick. She's just telling the truth. She's one of your people telling the truth about you blacks. She said you ain't no good. Y'all stupid. You don't wash your ass. Y'all fucked up. She just telling the truth. And Nick said, fuck all that. This is a bootlick. She's a token, and we don't need her fake ass. She's just sucking up the white people to get fame and money. And she's stupid. You know? Nick just blows the cover. He said, I'm tired of all these bootlick. He named all the bootlick Negroes.
We play this one.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay.
600 years. The Arab Muslims were who used the Islamic religion to totally destroy Africa after the Romans had ruled for 600 years. The Arab Muslims were very brutal and ruthless in the spread of Islam, especially around North Africa. They enslaved and massacred over 10 million innocent African women and children during the Arab slave trade. The first point of Islam in Africa was in North Africa, where the Arab Muslims invaded Egypt and conquered it in 640 AD.
Exactly. Pause it. We know these Turks, these white people conquered it, but they'll tell you that they were ancient Africans. Like, what? Motherfucker, you came in the 6th century. I mean, the 7th century and conquered it. You understand that? You're not indigenous. Just lie to your face. The Moroccans, the Tunisians, like that dude kicking all the Africans out in Tunisia. You're not indigenous to Africa. You are invaders. And then they try to claim ancient Kemet with all the statues of black women and black men. And they say, oh yeah, that's us right there. What? When Kemet was created, you didn't even exist. God damn it. Go ahead, Joe.
Were later colonized and Islamized. They were forced to receive Islam. This marked the beginning of the Arab slave trade, which lasted for over 700 years. The Arabs believed that Islam should be the official religion for Africans in North Africa. In Egypt, Africans who decided to follow Amen-Ra, that is the sun god and the central deity of Egypt. Anyone who decided to follow
it's not the sun god, it's the hidden god, it's the true god. Like an armor. He who rests upon nothing. It's the true God, it's not the sun god. It's the hidden, unknowable. Go ahead, Joby.
By the Arab Muslims, while those who decided to follow Islam were made to speak Arabic as their official tongue. In Egypt alone, over 1 million African Egyptians were massacred. The African Egyptian women were forced to marry Arab men. And this was how Egypt was taken from the Africans till today. They destroyed the African Egyptian method of writing, which is the hieroglyphs, and introduced Arabic. Hundreds and thousands of Africans in North Africa were massacred each month just because they refused to follow Prophet Muhammad. The traditional African worship was declared blasphemy in Islam. In the case of Nigeria, the Islamic religion penetrated around the 11th century, starting from Brunu. It was brought and spread by converted Africans and Arabic traders from North Africa. And in the year 1804, the Fulani Islamic leader and preacher, in the person of Usman Dan Fodio, felt that the Hausas were not practicing true Islam. It was at this moment Usman Dan Fodio organized a bloody jihad, which led to the establishment of the Sokoto Caliphate in Nigeria. This jihad led to the death of hundreds of innocent Hausa people in Nigeria. The Fulanis are not Nigerians. I repeat, the Fulanis you see today in Nigeria are not Nigerians. They are invaders. who invaded the northern region of Nigeria through the leadership of Usman Dan Fodio. Today, the Hausa people, who are the original Nigerians, are still colonized by these Fulanis, all in the name of Islam. So,
okay, that's the end of that video there. But yeah, we just need to know history, you know. Go back to, I was listening to a conversation Shumani and Iwaton were having today on TikTok about how black, I don't know, it's like they were trying to sympathize with why black women would opt to go to date these white people, including the Arabs and all that. And I was saying it still doesn't justify enough the fact that you know history and you still want to go lie with your enemy. It's crazy. Something is just wrong with you, you know so much history for you to make an excuse because the relationship of you and your ex-partner is not working, so you assume all black men are bad, so you'd rather go to the white people, the Arabic men.
That's what I talked about yesterday, Joe, with Airtime and Caprino Boy on the show. They weren't on YouTube. They were just on Rumble and BitChute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I got to say that. I said, "You later than you're a traitor to your race." How about you make it easy? Yeah.
Exactly. I was hearing the Iwaton trying to defend the same case. I'm like, she was like, Mr. Newsom, don't come for me. I'm like, something is you know too much to still make an excuse just because this didn't work. Now you make an excuse of going to sleep with your enemy. This is crazy, you know. And the worst part is you're literally advocating for old white men. Like, that is the crazy part, you know, because we're trying to relate to the Summer Walker situation and what is happening currently after the VMAs and all that. So it's just crazy. But anyway, we come to the end with today's conversation right there. History is very important. That's literally my closing remarks. History is very important. And with history comes knowledge. With knowledge, confidence.
That's why they don't teach it, Joe. Exactly.
Yeah, with history comes knowledge. With knowledge comes confidence. With confidence, that is where your fear disappears, because you know so much to be threatened by these illusions that you've been living in. And especially if you've been the ability to question the little things around you, the normal day-to-day occasions or events, that actually even puts you on a safer place to understand you're not crazy, that you've been questioning what is actually right. So with that, I hope we gain more confidence and lose fear to fight these people, because we're talking about history of us being completely wiped out, and it's still happening again. The genocide of Black people, like I say personally, it doesn't have to happen on numbers of people, but trust me, on a date like they put a target, they must kill one of us, you know, they must do something to one of us. It gives them pleasure. And it's not just even one person, all of them at this point. Because you see, actually on the comments, these white people never defend us. It's very rare to find a white person defending actually our cases. It's very
exactly.
Rare.
Exactly. So you see, always rare. It's almost saying bad. Yeah, y'all bad.
So yeah, the racism runs deep to all of them, no matter where they are. So you need to understand that. Stop being a smiley person, you know. Show your tough face as an African. And I'm not saying be a sadistic person, okay? All right, be tough, yes. Lose your fear, walk confidently, owning and understanding this is your world, this is your continent. You are here first before anyone, and that should give you so much pride. But anyway, much love, family. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Thank you so much for tuning in.
What's up, guys? You guys later on the day. Big cheese ass working out. What do you say?
Joby,
Big cheese, Big cheese, you got the meth heads outside your house today? You got the white meth heads out there?
Says, Joby, do you know how much money Keith could make with his knowledge if he took the Tariq Umar Johnson and Officer Tatum route? You would make millions, says. Sad to say. I know, but that's not our aim. And I'm grateful to not meeting such kind of people, because I hate scammers, I hate liars. You know, why would you want to scam people money? I have been scammed before. Do you know how painful that is, to lose money that you had no plans for? Like, you literally
I never wanted to feast off. I know I could do that. I never wanted to feast off black people, bitch. I always feel guilt. I always like, why do we got so many charlatans and fakes, and why we got so many black people that just feed off black people like this? I just can never do it. I can never sleep with myself. I was like, why we got so many scammers, and how do you live with yourself, man?
I was thinking about that just the other day. There was a time I wanted to create a fake account some time back when I didn't have a job. After quitting me being a maid, then I was like, now my cousin is there. They're giving me straight, talking to me crazy. I'm like, maybe I can just become a scammer, because I really had a good I was like, my numbers can literally bring me money. I just need to sell fake things, let people send money, and never deliver.
You got to think of a scam. But the best, I just never built that way. I thought, man,
I felt guilty. I was like, nah.
Yeah, how can you do damage to your own people? And I always said, eventually you should get caught. Once your credibility's gone, you're gone. That's why I could never get in that. Start with the scamming space and scam people, man. I don't know how they do it, man. I don't know how motherfuckers live with themselves. Oh, they stole all this money. Anyway, I ain't stole it. I talked it. So what? If a motherfucker's stupid, they stupid. No, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
It's crazy. You should be feeling guilty. If you don't have that guilt, something is wrong with you. But
I said that same thing. Big Lou said, keep. You know, you can scare the shit out of people. I said, I know, man, but I just couldn't live with myself, man. I just could never do that.
Much love, family. See you guys later tonight or during you guys'
time. Family. Yeah.
On Africa Today. Peace.
I got